Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. So starting this video off with updates of four-time Mr. Olympia Jay Cutler. I actually found these photos about a day ago. It's a possibility that they are not recent, but we are going to take them as recent. So how do you guys think Jay Cutler is looking at 49 years old? And we talk about transitioning from bodybuilding, competing to retirement. People always say that Jay Cutler did it the best, and they say they would like to look like Jay once they retire. But even though Jay is approaching 50 years old, still has some decent abs and nice cuts in the quads. Thought this was a very interesting story to share. And in the next update of the day, you guys are looking at the most recent training updates of Nick Walker, who is looking massive right now. Nick is working very hard to improve on that 5th place placing from last year's Olympia. But the question is, will he? Going into last year's Arnold Classic, Nick Walker was very confident about winning, and a very few people had him winning going into this show. Is Nick Walker going to shock the world again this December? Is it a possibility that top 2 call-out could be Big Ramy versus Nick Walker? And keep in mind, guys, even though Nick Walker placed 5th at the Olympia, that was his worst showing of the year. In my personal opinion, Nick was probably the best at the Arnold Classic, and maybe even better in New York than he was at the Olympia. Now, switching over to Samson Dauda, these are the most recent updates of him at 9 weeks out from the Olympia. And one thing we've been worried about with Samson, can he get the glute striated? We all know that Samson comes in great condition, has pretty good hamstring detail, but never really seen those striations. And at 9 weeks out, Samson Dauda already has them. Going into this year's Olympia, if we want to see anyone new in the top 6, my vote is going to be Samson Dauda. And in the next update of the day, these are the most recent updates of Iain Valliere. Now, as I mentioned in my last video, Iain, along with William Bonac and Big Ramy, all of them seem to be in great condition about 9 or 10 weeks out from this year's Olympia. Now, Iain brings a crazy amount of conditioning, which is why he beats these guys. And I don't think the shapely guys are going to get the pass over Iain if they're not conditioned. On paper, Akeem Williams should probably beat Iain every single time. Akeem is arguably bigger, has better structure, a smaller waist. But since Akeem can't bring the conditioning, he's getting beat out by Iain Valliere. And I think that may be the case for a lot of these shapely guys if they don't get in condition for this year's Olympia. How do you guys feel about that? And switching over to William Bonac, he actually posted this up recently. Now, this isn't a recent update. I remember talking about this video about a week ago. Now, going into this year's Olympia, as you guys know, William Bonac has initially been my favorite for this 2nd place. But rewinding back to this year's Arnold Classic, William Bonac lost to an off Brandon Currey. It was rumored that Brandon was 20 pounds down from the Olympia, and I honestly don't even want to believe that, because it's unbelievable if any bodybuilder can come in at their next showing 20 pounds smaller and still win. But think about it, guys. William Bonac didn't get the nod over an off Brandon Currey. So will Bonac be able to beat an on Brandon Currey? Now, switching over to Justin Rodriguez, he posted these updates up recently. Justin did say that he feels like Legion was one of the best showings of his career, and he's still going to do this year's Olympia. By the way, this is Justin Rodriguez in the rebound phase where guys tend to look incredible. I do not think that was one of Justin's best showings, and hopefully George Farrer isn't in his ear praising him too much. But just to show you guys how Justin Rodriguez looked earlier this season, this was Justin in a rebound after Indy and New York. Completely different bodybuilder. But hopefully Justin competing so much doesn't have long-term effects on his physique. And hopefully after this year's Olympia, he finally decides to shut it down and take a break. Everyone knows that his physique needs it, taking nothing away from him at all. Now, switching over to Brett Wilkin, these are the most recent updates of him ahead of Romania. Brett is looking incredible. But you guys let me know in the comment section below, do you guys think Brett has significantly improved since his last showing? Now, I'm not putting Brett down in any way, but what I'm seeing is pretty much more or less of the same thing. I don't feel like Brett has put on a significant amount of size. Now, even though Brett would still be pretty competitive, I just don't see much improvements from the last showing. Hopefully that wasn't too negative. And switching over to 212, we have recent updates of Keone Pearson, who seems like he's already in some good condition at 9 weeks out. Now, we all know that Keone has the shape to be up there fighting for the title, but 212 is arguably the most conditioned class. All of these guys come in peeled, and they're very, very consistent. So if Keone comes in a little bit off, same as I said about the open guys, even though he has great shape, he could get pushed down if he's not in condition. Especially if he's standing next to a guy like this, he has crazy detail. The most recent updates from Kamal Elgargni. Now, it has been rumored around a lot that Sean Clarita is doing open, even though he hasn't announced it. So Kamal Elgargni would definitely be the favorite to win this year's 212 Olympia. Crazy amount of conditioning, crazy detail. Kamal actually reminds me a lot of Hadi Chupin. You know, maybe Hadi has a physique like this once he's 50. Except Kamal does have rounder shoulders than Hadi. But I'm excited for this year's 212 Olympia. Now, another 212 guy that is always left out of the conversation for, fighting into their top 6, Bryan Balzano. This guy has an incredible physique. As you guys can see, he's huge, very round. Also brings a crazy level of conditioning. 212 is going to be so competitive, man. Ping Young Long, Kerrith Bajo, Lucas Coelho, Keone Pearson. Who is going to be the best bodybuilder on that day? Now, switching over to Classic Physique, these are the most recent updates of Neil Currey. And unfortunately, if the Classic Physique doesn't up the weight cap, a lot of these athletes are going to be going to open in the near future. Neil Currey is about 2 months out from the Mr. Olympian, already in incredible condition, man. This guy could do a show pretty soon and win. But hopefully Neil Currey is able to sneak into that top 10. We do have 2 open spaces with Brian Jones and Robert Timms not returning. Now, these are the most recent updates of Michael Daboul ahead of next week's Dubai Pro. Michael is looking to get 2 pro wins before going into this year's Olympia. Now, this guy is extremely dangerous, man. This guy's made a lot of improvements just since last year. But his conditioning, when you have this level of conditioning and detail, you're going to be a threat in almost any single bodybuilding show. And it's crazy how this guy can almost pull off this man's physique pose and make it look good. But ending this video here with the archive of the day, you guys let me know in the comment section below which legendary bodybuilder is this, and may he rest in peace. As always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. Was a shorter one, not really a lot of updates, but hopefully I still made it interesting. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.